Right, so they thought that the Demogorgon was the boss fight. Cute. While the party was flirting at the mall, the side quest built a flesh monster out of rats and trauma. D&D 101. Never ignore the side quest. Hi friends, I'm Betty Rage, your favorite nerdy goth mom, and this chaotic mess is Lashes and Lore, the show where the eyeliner is sharp, the lore is messy, and yes, I will cry about possessed teenagers while trying to keep my setting spray from giving up halfway through the monologue. Today, we are diving into Stranger Things Season 3, the season where the party got distracted. The horror leveled up, and Hawkins learned what happens when you stop paying attention to the background plot. It starts melting people. And in case you were wondering, every product that I'm using to hold this look together while Hawkins falls apart is listed down in the description, because surviving a flesh horror invasion shouldn't mean sacrificing your highlight. We're really here for the story. The makeup is just to keep my hands busy. So let's get into it. All right, babes, welcome to Hawkins Summer Edition, where the mall is poppin', the teens are kissing, and the Mind Flayer is regenerating in the shadows like a petty little drama goblin. Season 3 opens with our adventuring party riding high. They beat the Demogorgon, they outlasted the Mind Flayer, and the vibes are immaculate. Fireworks, ice cream, hormones. It's giving, we finished the campaign, and now the DM is letting us run slice of life downtime for, a little XP. And honestly, that's the trap, because everyone is busy chasing side quests that they think matter. Eleven and Mike are deep in their "we're in love, leave us alone" arc. And Hopper is trying to solo a rom-com with Joyce. Nancy and Jonathan are interns getting ghosted by capitalism. Will wants to play D&D, but his party traded in their character sheets for kissing mechanics, and our little Steve Harrington is in his mall era. He's out here slinging ice cream, losing charisma rolls, and inventing an entirely new class called Sad Hot Retail Dad, which some of us might be into. They saved the world once and said, you know what would be fun? Emotional repression and a retail job. And while all that's happening, while everyone is distracted, grieving, kissing, or ignoring the ominous thunderclouds, the side quest spawns, literally. Enter Billy Hargrove, Max's leather-clad, rage-simmering stepbrother, permanent scowl, and enough eyeliner to sponsor a Hot Topic. He spent Season 2 being an aggressive NPC with a vendetta, but this time he gets promoted, because Billy, of all people, is the one who wanders off alone. He rolls a nat 1 on perception, crashes his car, and walks straight into the Upside Down's first ambush of the season. He becomes the first casualty of distraction. The party is off chasing teen drama, and meanwhile, the real quest grabs Billy by the face and drags him deep into the dark. So just what does happen when you ignore the plot hook and your DM gives it to an NPC instead? Well, spoiler alert, nothing good. So let's talk about what happens to Billy. Poor Billy. Or does he deserve it? I don't know. Here we go. Billy Hargrove, the side quest that becomes the main plot. So what does happen when you ignore the side quest? You get Billy, not the hot lifeguard, not the mustache icon, not the maybe he's redeemable brooding disaster. No, you get the flayed, walking, snarling embodiment of every bad thing that grows in the shadows when no one is paying attention. And Billy doesn't just get possessed, he becomes the first brick in a pyramid scheme of body horror. The Upside Down grabs him, uses his trauma as kindling, and says, cool, now go build me an army out of rats and guilt. And babes, he does. It starts with rats. Explodey raps. Explodey raps. Raps. I keep saying raps, but I mean rats. Anyways, thousands of them. It's like a summon spell went very wrong. And now we are watching the ritual cast of Build a Flesh Golem, Hawkins edition. These rats, they scurry, melt, reform, and Billy's standing in the middle of it like he's some kind of cursed cult manager. I mean, just imagine taking psychic damage from watching a man flirt with your mom and create a sludge monster from vermin. That is a 2-for-1 trauma special, courtesy of the Mind Flayer. But here is the genius. This isn't just mind control. It's vulnerability-based possession. The Upside Down doesn't just grab anyone. It finds the isolated, the ignored, the ones teetering on the edge, and then offers them a purpose. Billy is angry, haunted, already cracked wide open. So when the hive mind whispers, he doesn't resist. He listens. And while the party is busy juggling summer jobs and kissing dice rolls, Billy becomes the general of an army that no one even knows is forming. So what happens when the villain is already inside the gates, wearing a tank top, smiling through it, and dragging half of the town into a meat blender cult? Meat blender cult. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. It's gross. Well, now it's not just a side quest. It is a siege, and absolutely no one is ready for what happens next. So let's check in with the actual adventuring party, because while Billy is out there building an ooze demon out of sentient steak tartare, our heroes, well, they're distracted. Again, Lucas and Max are busy refereeing the romantic fallout between Mike and Eleven, who, by the way, are basically role-playing a teenage romance subplot while the DM is desperately trying to advance the main quest. Dustin is off LARPing a spy movie with Steve and Robin. Will is the only one with eyes on the plot. He's standing in the background like, the Mind Flayer's back. Anyone? No? Cool. I'll just vibe with my PTSD over here. Okay, thanks. This is why you don't let your bard run the group calendar. Everyone is on a personal side quest, while the final boss is mid-summon. Meanwhile, Billy's out here body snatching half the town. We're talking flayed townsfolk, possessed housewives, melting faces, and a growing cult of meat puppets who are acting normal just long enough to get close to you, and then boom, welcome to the blender. This is where season 3 flips the horror switch from creepy crawly cosmic invasion. The Upside Down isn't just leaking anymore. It is organizing. There is a plan now, a structure, a flesh pyramid scheme with Billy as the smiling recruiter and the Mind Flayer as the upper management. Right, so from a D&D perspective, we're in serious dungeon crawl territory. Billy is the mid-boss. The flayed are the mobs. And, well, the town is the dungeon. Tunnels below, traps above, NPCs acting weird. And the stakes are rising every time someone goes missing. And yet, our party still hasn't clocked it because they're in slice of life summer campaign mode. They think this is about love triangles, mall jobs, and maybe figuring out who Will's senses are tingling. The rats are swarming. But, what do you do when your dungeon isn't under the castle? When it is the castle? When the entire setting turns hostile? And the only people who can actually stop it are arguing over breakup rules and radio tower names. Well, babes, now the distraction has a body count. So, here we are. half of the cast flayed. The mall crawling with Russian goons. Finally, the party starts to actually connect the dots. You got there. But babes, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This isn't some well-oiled adventuring machine suddenly clicking into place. This is what happens when your group finally fails enough perception checks to trigger a cutscene. Mike and 11 are back on speaking terms. Lucas supplying fireworks, and Will is the only one actively reading the monster manual at this point. He senses the Mind Flayer, like a DM, prepping legendary actions. But it is not until they see the monster that everyone collectively goes, all right, this is a horror campaign. Yeah, gotta get back to that. So, 10 out of 10 for dramatic timing, 0 out of 10 for proactive investigation. And meanwhile, Hopper and Joyce are out here living a completely different module. They are on the Cold War espionage side quest, breaking into labs, interrogating evil scientists, and accidentally stumbling into a secret Soviet base under the local mall. I mean, how did Hawkins become this cursed? One place is surely not this cursed. And then, of course, there is Robin and Steve. Steve, I peaked in season 2, Harrington, is now playing babysitter to a rogue intern who speaks fluent Russian. And Robin is the MVP. High intelligence, high charisma, possibly multi-classed into Bard Rogue. She's cracking codes, dodging danger, and somehow staying sane in a Scooby-Doo subplot that suddenly turned into The Americans. Robin's pulling triple duty: spy, hacker, and moral compass. She's giving makeup highlighter with utility, like when your setting spray holds all of your trauma in place. And just when you think that the party might actually pull it together, Billy goes into full raid boss. The flesh monster has evolved. It's huge, it's intelligent, and it's pissed. So now the clock is ticking. The Flayer's got a body. Billy's got a target. And the party, they're finally all in one place. But is that enough? Because, what do you do when the monster knows your names, your faces, and your emotional weak spots? All right, babes, the party has officially regrouped just in time for all hell to break loose. The Mind Flayer's body is complete, and it did not just pop out of a summoning circle. It was built out of grief, pain, trauma, and half of the PTA, really. You ignored the side quest, and now the side quest is building a kaiju in your neighborhood. So where does this final battle happen? A secret Soviet base? Blood-slick tunnel of horrors? No. The Starcourt Mall. The most American possible location to fight a fleshy, interdimensional apex predator. Nothing says climatic boss battle like screaming teens dual-wielding fireworks next to an Orange Julius. But honestly, the mall scene is peak D&D chaos. We've got the tank, 11, still OP, but rolling on exhaustion tables after getting chewed on by monster goo. Ew. Then you have your damage dealers, Lucas and his stash of illegal 4th of July fireworks. We also have the rogue duo, Steve and Robin, sneaking through air ducts and kind of flirting between trauma responses. We also have the NPC allies, Joyce and Hopper, off on a side corridor, trying to shut down the machine like it's a damn MacGuffin quest from Mass Effect. And meanwhile, Billy, poor, broken, angry Billy. He is the final mini-boss in the party's way. Possessed, corrupted, and weaponized. This isn't just a fight scene, this is a cut scene with consequences. 11 doesn't beat Billy with a spell, she beats him with memory. Here's a DM tip. You want to stop combat cold at your table? Drop something like, I saw you once at the beach with your mom. How long has it been since she passed? Whew. Let that emotional damage land. Apparently, the most powerful spell in season 3 isn't Fireball. It's therapy. Billy dies, saving her. Hopper vanishes in an explosion. The portal closes, but nothing feels fixed. Because, like any good D&D campaign, the end of an arc isn't neat. It's messy, it's costly, and it leaves the party with more scars than answers. So what happens when the boss is gone, but the trauma sticks around? The Mind Flayer's body might be gone, but babes, that was never the real danger. The real threat is what got left behind. Grief, guilt, and goodbyes. You know, the 3 G's of D&D. I made that up. So, the monster is dead. The fireworks have fizzled. And the credits are rolling. But, babes, nobody is celebrating. Because this was not a victory. It was a retreat. The party is broken. Elle is powerless. Will is haunted. Joyce packs up her kids like a single mom escaping a haunted house. Because she is. Mike and Elle say goodbye like 2 teens who finally realize that there is no plot armor left. And the group, the chaotic, beautiful mess of a party we have followed since season 1, is completely fractured. Ah, yes, the classic campaign ending. Half the party leaves town, one's depowered, one's dead, and the DM just writes, "To be determined," in giant letters across the world map. And what's worse, they still don't know what they're actually fighting. The Mind Flayer's physical form is gone, sure, but its influence, that is still lingering. We get that post-credits scene in Russia, because of course we do, and a cryptic tease that the American is alive. The campaign's over, but the next one, it is already brewing. And this time, they don't just need a new spell list. They need therapy. They need to stop ignoring the side quests. So here we have our final look. Little smoky today. Stranger Things Season 3 isn't really about saving Hawkins. It's more about missing the signs. The party had all the tools. They just weren't looking in the right place. They were distracted by malls, by romance, by grief. And in the space where no one was paying attention, the monster built itself. Every party has side quests that seem small, but ignore them long enough and they become boss fights. So don't skip that weird town NPC. And don't hand wave the emotional subplot. Don't ignore the kid coughing up slugs. That seems like a problem, a big one. Because the Mind Flayer isn't just a monster. It's a metaphor. And bet, metaphors are always going to win if you pretend they're not real. So yeah, Season 3 wasn't about defeating the monster. It was about realizing that you were too busy shopping for potions at the mall to notice the boss monster was inside the party the whole time. And when it finally showed up, wearing Billy's face and dripping with trauma, the only thing that our heroes could do was survive. Barely. But that's the thing about distractions. They don't just delay the quest, they change it. And now, the party's heading into the next arc with less power, more baggage, and zero idea what kind of cosmic horror just set its eyes on Hawkins. Oh, and if you are wild and watching these out of order, I love that chaotic energy for you. But you can find the full playlist of every Stranger Things season breakdown, complete with all my unhinged D&D parallels, right here in the description below, or click on the playlist here. I'm Betty Rage, your favorite nerdy goth mom, and this is Lashes and Lore, where the lore is deep, the eyeliner is deeper, and we are all just trying to survive the upside down. So be good to each other, love each other, and as always, free mom hugs from me to you. Bye. I'll see you next week.